What is going on, guys? JC Navy here, back with another video. Today we're going to talk about people's terrible rental stories. And this one is interesting to me because, as I've said in 1,000 videos, I'm a landlord. And so I'm always interested to see what kind of experiences other renters have with their landlords. The word landlord even sounds weird to me. But with that being said, before we get into the video, if you would do me a quick favor, and if this is your second or more time tuning in to watch a video of mine, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider liking the video and subscribing, because it really does help with the YouTube algorithm, and I would greatly appreciate it. And with that being said, let's get into the video.
Because apartments in this country have lost their damn mind. So I moved in with my boyfriend last year. Our apartment is now up for renewal. Now, I was pretty optimistic because, we're in the dead of winter. Apartments have kind of stabilized here in the Dallas market. And I know a lot of things go into what your rate is going to be and renewal rates. But for some perspective, we live in a luxury apartment in Uptown. Now, I say luxury because our unit is probably the only unit that has not been significantly renovated in the complex. For perspective, let me show you what the appliances looked like before he moved in. So this is our lovely oven. It does function for the most part. It runs a little wonky sometimes. And you know why? Because it's from the year 1999. It is older than half of the residents in our complex. This is our refrigerator that has a similar birthday. Now, we did beg the complex to replace the dishwasher and the microwave because they just literally did not work. So our dishwasher is stainless steel, our microwave is stainless steel, and our oven top is black. So nothing matches, but everything in this apartment's pictures of the community, they all have matching stainless steel appliances. There were so many.
So far, I will say that if you're advertising something as a luxury, I would expect more than what she's showing. Now, okay, the fact that the appliances don't match, some are white, some are stainless steel, some are black, that's tacky, but it's not necessarily a lie to say it's not luxury. I have to see more, which by the looks of this clip so far, what's coming up next might seal the deal for me. But if things aren't working, that's a different story. She said the microwave didn't work. I think she said the dishwasher didn't work. That's a completely different situation. That should be taken care of right away. Well, those aren't necessarily things that are causing any issue that could affect, like, that are dangerous. So when I say right away, I don't mean 48 hours, but relatively soon. So let's see what else is going on here.
Of paint in the bathroom that the paint is just now peeling off of the wall like this. And whatever they did up here, I, I don't know. And also just some fantastic workmanship on these cabinets. Just can't compliment it enough. Anywho, so literally less than a month ago, there were other units leasing for about $100 more than what we currently pay on different floors that were fully renovated. Those units are now no longer available, but that made me pretty optimistic. So our apartment is much more dated than those units, so we should at least keep our same rate, right? Wrong. We get our renewal rate. If we were to re-sign for anything less than 15 months, we would have over $100 increase in rent. Which I get it. It could be worse, but this is a complex that severely advertises themselves as being a luxurious complex, a just top of the line, on the Katy Trail, just all the amenities you could ask for. And they can't even be bothered to replace our oven that's from 1999. Mind you, I was 7 in 1999. I am now 30.
So one has to wonder why she's still there, right? So what I'm thinking is that the luxury is the location, not necessarily the interior of the apartment. Because if it was that bad, she'd probably move. And maybe she's going to say she's moving. Something tells me she's going to stay. But if the apartment complex is able to charge the prices she's talking about for the level of quality interior design that she showed us, it leads me to believe that, number one, there's a lot of demand for where she's at. So that right there already gives the apartment complex leverage. So they're not rushing to fix small things like the peeling stuff off of the countertop or whatever that was, because they don't have to, because they know that if this person leaves, they can easily replace her. That's just supply and demand. So I think it has more to do with the location than the actual inside of the apartment. So let's see if she decides to stay or leave, because that'll really be interesting to me.
And it makes me even more angry because we even went on an apartment search, and there are plenty of apartments that are a very similar size to ours with the same amenities in the same good location for our price or less. So it's just like the audacity that they'd rather just raise our rent and push us out than just keep it the same and keep a good tenant that pays their bills, when in reality, they're not going to get much more for this unit even if they push us out and renovate it. And if you're an apartment locator, it's okay. I don't need one. We have one. But, anyways, just had to vent. If you're in the same situation,
Yeah, I was gonna say she's just venting because she doesn't want to move and she's mad that they're raising the rent on her. Which, listen, I've said this in other videos. I don't necessarily raise rents, but she's in an apartment complex, not in an individual house that's owned by individual landlords. So they're gonna raise rents based upon what the market will allow. If they're doing their research and they see that they can rent that same unit she's in for an extra $100 a month, they're gonna do it. And if she decides she wants to leave because of it, they're going to replace her the- with a new renter very soon. And she said that they probably can't get more money if they renovate it. Probably not true. If you have a prime location and a lot of demand and you renovate the property, which they probably don't even need to, because as it seems now, people are already clamoring to get there, they're going to be able to charge more for it. So she has a decision to make, and it looks like she said decided to stay there for an extra $100 a month. So, but overall, I mean, this isn't that bad. This is the place that she was showing wasn't the nicest, but I wouldn't necessarily qualify this as a rental nightmare. But some more of these clips you might find other to be true.
You're renting in Sydney, I figured out the best place to rent somewhere. Okay. It's definitely better if you're renting from a landlord that has like a few properties and he's very hands-on with the property, where like if something goes wrong, he comes in and he fixes it for you. If the landlord has too many properties or owns the entire building or has a real estate agency really maintaining like the communication, that's when, if you ever need to get anything done, they don't really do it for you because they just don't really care. The place I moved into is very similar to the place that I used to live in, Rose Bay. He owned 6 of the units in that building, and he did everything. He did the whole flooring in the driveway, and anytime something got messed up, he would fix it. Similar to here, the place that I'm renting, the landlord got me fly screens the day that I moved in because I was like, I definitely need these for ventilation. He was so sweet. Like, this landlord gave me a screwdriver set as a present because he knew I don't have any tools. So I would recommend trying to find someone that is a hands-on landlord.
So I will say I agree with some of what she's saying. Just because you rent from a mom and pop landlord or a landlord that has a couple properties, maybe 1 to 3 versus 5, 6 plus, a lot of times you will get a more hands-on personal experience. Yes, that can be good or bad because they could be breathing down your neck and every little thing they're on top of it, and not in a good way. Or they could be like what she's saying. They could be very helpful and they could develop a relationship with you, which could also be good or bad. Mostly bad for the landlord side, if I'm being honest, because then that's when, depending on the tenant, not all, they start to see you as more of a friend, and they sometimes ask for concessions. They might get late on rent and expect you to give them a pass with no late fee. They may call you for little things that they may otherwise not have called you for that aren't really that urgent. So from a landlord's perspective, it's not the greatest. From a renter's perspective, it can be. Now, when she says these larger landlords tend not to care as much, that's also not necessarily true. There are some large apartment complexes or landlords own multiple properties that have a very solid operation and a very solid property management team, and work with very good real estate agents. So those situations are different. But there are those slumlords. The slumlords could be small mom and pop landlords. They could be big landlords. The area of the country I'm in, there's a certain city that's nearby me. And that city is known for having a lot of slumlords. And slumlords are those landlords who just do the bare minimum. They're not going to fix a property that really needs to be fixed up. They're going to do just what they need to do to get it past code, and sometimes not even that, and they let it slide by because they take advantage of renters who don't have the means to go to court against them or don't have the knowledge to do so. Those people are very bad, and they give the rest of us a bad name. So that's the extreme side of it. Then there's the other side of it where she said the guy's buying her tools to fix stuff. That's a whole nother, I mean, why? To me, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he likes what he sees, but I'm not buying, why am I buying you tools? Well, I guess maybe because you're in your mind, you're going, okay, if I buy them tools, they won't call me to fix stuff. But typically, it's not going to be the case, anyways. Nonetheless, again, not necessarily a horror story, but she's explaining how it could potentially be a horror story if you are just so happen to be one of these tenants who unfortunately get involved with a slumlord. But depends on the state you're in. If you're in a what they call a blue state or a tenant friendly state, a lot of times, then it's easier for you to raise complaints against your landlord if they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Whereas in less landlord or less tenant friendly states, more landlord friendly states, a lot of times if you get screwed over as a tenant, you don't have much of a recourse, or if you do, you have to jump through a lot of hoops. So just keep that in mind depending on the area of the world or area of the country that you're living in.
Why are apartment complexes such scammers? I just found out that I had a collections agency coming after me for $822 from an apartment complex that I rented from like 5 years ago when I first moved out and I was just turning 21. Mind you, I have received no texts, no calls, no emails, nothing from this agency, and it was like plummeting my credit score. And now, come to think of it, I never got my 750 security deposit back. So in my mind, I'm just trying to calculate what the damage was because I literally didn't damage the apartment at all. I didn't mount any TVs. I think the only thing that I hung up was like two little things of art and it weighed nothing. So it was like just two nails in the wall. So there were literally no damages. So 800 plus 750, that's like what, 1500 worth of supposed damages that they needed to come and take out of my pocket. Yeah, I think not. That is ridiculous. Has anyone else had this happen with like any apartment or home that y'all rented? Because this is like absolutely ridiculous. They never ever contact me and said, hey, this is what's broken. They were just like, give me the money.
My spidey senses are tingling a little bit on this one. I think that there's more to the story here. I'll be honest. I don't know what that more is. Could she potentially be someone who doesn't stay on top of her finances and she just overlooked certain things? Did she actually do more than she thinks she did, or she doesn't remember because it was 5 years ago? Don't know. Because legally, they're supposed to notify you if they're going to be charging you for something that they said was damaged. It should be in writing, and you should know about this before, I think within 30, well, it depends on the state you're in and the county or city you're in, but it's not going to be more than 30 days or 60 days at most, 90 days at max. So if within 90 days, she just was not made aware of this $800 that they were charging her, it just leads me to ask more questions. And not to mention, she just now remembers that she didn't get back her $700. I mean, I know that $700 may not be that much. I mean, it's a decent amount of money for most people. How do you not realize you don't get your $700 back? Or maybe she just at the time said, forget it. I'll just go about my life because I don't want to deal with it. I don't know. Let's see what the comments say. I'm curious what other people are saying. I'm going to guess they're siding with her, which I'm not saying they shouldn't. Just curious if anyone else has the same questions I have. So someone says, yes, get you a lawyer. They are supposed to send you emails, letters, notice before sending you to collections. He's saying the apartment complex should have notified her before they sent her overdue payment to collections, which is true. She's saying she never received anything from anyone, collections or the apartment complex. So that's why I'm not sure. Something doesn't seem to be adding up here. Someone says, pay your bills. Okay. That must be the apartment complex. Sneaking in his fake profile and commenting on this.
So I'm renting for the first time in my life, and I've lived here for 3 weeks now. And there was one issue that I brought up to them, and they fixed it or like whatever. And then there was 4 other issues that came up. I tried to address all of these issues. 2 of them I tried to address on my own multiple times. I waited before I notified them, but I didn't want to wait too long because I didn't want them to say that like I was, the responsible party for these things not working. Um, so I fucking emailed them a list of 4 things. I didn't demand anything. I didn't say you need to have this fixed immediately, like nothing. I just said these are the facts, these are the issues. And they responded and basically suggested that maybe it's not a good fit and I shouldn't be renting from them because of it. So I was like, okay, I'm sorry. Um, I assumed you would want to be aware if there's issues regarding the rental that you own. How could I better notify you in the future? Basically, without being met with the threat of like having to move out. Like, and like they tried to say, like, basically saying that I'm being too needy. Like, I literally tried to fix these issues on my own and waited before I told you because I didn't want to fucking bother you. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, first and foremost, what are these issues she's talking about? She said 4 issues, but she didn't specify what they are in the video. I'm only asking because, and not to sound like some grumpy landlord, but sometimes you do get tenants, and again, not trying to come across a certain way, but sometimes you do get people who maybe think of certain things as needing to be fixed when they don't necessarily need to be fixed. Which I'll give an example of it. I can't think of something off the top of my head. But I will say that another thing too is she said that they pretty much insinuated or told her more or less that if she doesn't like staying there and it's a problem that she can go, which that's inappropriate. That's unprofessional. But again, these are her words. I don't know what the exact email looked like or how it read. We'll say that she's a first-time renter, so what she failed to do in the beginning is what everyone should do, is a walkthrough. Take a walkthrough with the property manager there or with the owner there, whoever it is showing you the apartment or the house. Take pictures of everything. Document the date, the time, and store it somewhere safe. Because if it ever comes up in the future, whether it's because it's annoying to you or more importantly, so they don't try to charge you for it, definitely do it. Because she said they knew about it. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Maybe they turned the apartment over quickly and they missed it, depending on what the things were. And what the last thing you want is for when you move out, for them to say, hey, by the way, you're not getting your security deposit back or you owe us this money because this, and this is damaged or messed up. So that's just for her own benefit. Now, aside from that, I mean, again, I would need to know what the things are. Are they broken blind? Not broken blinds. Are they maybe one of the parts of the blinds are damaged? Maybe some of the outlet covers are cracked, you know. Who knows? It could be a range of things. Maybe like the person in that first video showed us, there's the part of the dressers peeling off, or maybe there's some rust somewhere. I don't know what the things are. And maybe she just made a list and it rubbed the landlord or the property manager the wrong way. But even if that's the case, you don't respond in a way that's unprofessional. But again, without knowing exactly what the things are, I can't comment too much about it. But this is just a good video to let you know, if you didn't already, whenever you get a new place, before you move in, walk through it, take pictures of everything. The landlord should do the same thing too. It's just do CYA. Cover your own ass. With that being said, if you made it this far in the video, I really appreciate you very much. If you didn't already, if you feel free to give the video a like and to subscribe if you so too feel inclined, because it really does help with YouTube algorithm and I would greatly appreciate it. And until next time, make great financial decisions.